his stuff was funny because he'd be laughing along with you while he was telling these like before the skits happen.
Yeah.
When he's talking, and you can see him like rolling. I mean, there's times that Key and Peele do it, but it's not like when Chappelle does it, man. Yeah, Chappelle genuinely thought his stuff was funny.
Yeah, I mean, for the time, the way he influenced TV.
Yeah.
I mean, the revenue for that show of $500 million.
Yeah.
Insane.
Oh yeah,
unheard of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Great guy. But I was telling you earlier, you need to check out Louis C.K. My Lord.
I mean, I will. I'm just not as big as the Louis
so
C.K.
funny. Like that guy is. I mean, he is inching closer to that Chappelle level for me.
He's gonna be white Chappelle.
I mean, he can be whatever Chappelle he wants to, my man. Like he's so funny. Like, but it's so natural. I do like,
dude. I can't trust him. What if he just starts jerking off?
That's the more to treat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
whoa, sir,
dude. How many people get to say a celebrity? Louis C.K.'s stature.
I don't think
jerked off in front of me. No, you don't think that's a win?
No, that's not a win. I think that's a net loss.
I call that a net gain. I thought you were business savvy. You get to form a memory.
I mean, the negative press only hurt him in the short term, but that's about it. It kind of helped him in the long term.
Yeah, I mean,
the Me Too movement.
Scratch.
Well, the Me Too movement was after him after that.
Correct that, but for him, it was also a financial.
Because I don't know why, but they constituted that as some form of rape.
I don't know. It's just for big platforms. It was just a signal, virtue signal.
Yeah,
so they need to show, we cannot be associated with such a character.
Yeah,
but every single one of those CEOs probably did worse.
Yeah,
and people like Sarah Silverman, who are in the road with him.
Yeah.
So much of the time say, we let him. Like, that's what he does. That's what Louis does. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would be like in the corner just rubbing one out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, jeez.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And I like, so he did address it briefly in one of his specials. And then Sorry came out, I guess 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And it addressed it a little more. Right now he's past that.
Oh yeah.
Almost.
Well, I mean, no one thinks about that anymore.
Exactly,
really.
but the way people laughed was like the old days of Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And what I love about him, and I'm gonna stop singing the man praises just in a second. A punchline for him is not your traditional punchline.
Yeah.
It could be such an ordinary, nonchalant phrasing that you would hear every day. But because of when he says it and in what context and how he says it, like the way the faces he makes, just fuck. One of the I'm gonna tell you this. One of the punchlines, Jews. Exactly.
Of course, right? Of course, which kind of gets us on topic.
Hell yeah! Welcome to the podcast, Barely a Podcast with me, Teddy and Chris. Episode 7.
Yeah.
You want to solve racism today?
Yeah, we're gonna solve racism in an hour, guys.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what we're doing.
Have
today.
some faith.
We're solving racism in 1 hour.
In 1 hour, here's a white man, a black man across the table.
Where we're gonna do it,
hashing out 300 years.
You know, because people in society take us so seriously that as soon as we're done with this, racism's gonna be solved.
It's. I mean, we should have done this earlier.
Yeah, probably. This should have been an earlier episode, but.
And we should have done this sooner in human history.
Oh, well, yeah. Should have got an Ethiopian man and a man from Middle America. To come
just
together and figure it out. Just knock these details out. Yeah, so I need to ask you this and for the audience. Coming from Ethiopia to America, have you experienced an abundance of racism since you've been in the States?
No.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought. Because, I mean, I live in Texas.
Over. Podcast over.
Podcast over. We're done, guys.
Done.
Boom, 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 boom.
You're doing the sound. Dude, you're on it today.
Yeah.
With the sound.
But that's my point. Is I don't think that there's not racist people here.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's as many as people want to believe.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're in Texas, which is supposed to be quote unquote one of the most racist states because we're the southernest one, and
yeah,
you're fine.
Not the facts on the ground. Different.
Yeah. The facts. I mean, I've lived in Texas the majority of my life, and I like my friend group in high school would look like a diversity quota today. Like, because we had a black friend, we had a Puerto Rican friend, a Mexican friend, a half Mexican friend, a gay white guy, me, a straight white guy, an Asian kid. I mean that you couldn't get more diverse, and it was unintentional. We just all liked the same things.
Unorganically.
Yeah. We all liked the same things. Just looking, I didn't even realize it at the time, but looking back at it now, it's just like, geez, I had the most diverse friend group.
Like a committee was set up to try and see. There's an oversight.
We're drafting. We got to get a white nerd in here.
There's a quota we got to hit.
This group's missing. Because I was the last person to join the group.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like,
we
got to get a white nerd. We got to get a white nerd in here. There he is.
No one.
Do you like Final Fantasy? Well, then you're drafted. Welcome to the team.
Chris is on his impressions today. And
well, I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. I mean, because like I think I showed you that video. There's that black kid who's part of progressive millennials. It's a group, and he said 30% of unarmed black people are being shot every year. I was like, you do realize if 30%.
I think it's just like 3 million.
Yeah, it's like 13 million, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and there's a wasp behind you. The black population would be wiped out in 3 years if that was the case. I know there'd be diminishing returns. I'm just saying if this number was the same every year.
Yeah,
like the hard number, not the percentage.
Yeah,
but
I completely so those kind of commentaries actually do a disservice to the conversation, right?
Because you want to know the actual number, because the New York Post keeps track of this.
And you're talking about
unarmed by the police.
Yeah,
every year. The average is 10.
The average is 10.
The average is 10.
Which is one too many.
The high is 15.
Yeah, 10 too many.
Yeah.
Still.
But
it's not the narrative. It doesn't meet the narrative.
Also, this doesn't say if they were committing any crimes or anything like that in the process.
Got it.
Or if they were attacking. They were just unarmed.
Yes. So all this is to clearly demonstrate that the narrative and what really happens on the ground are two starkly different stories.
Like when George Floyd died, right? That same weekend, the police in Dallas had shot a homeless white guy. And no one was marching in the street for that. So it's like George Floyd, he shouldn't have died.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like some great guy. He was trying to buy stuff with counterfeit money. And he was high on fentanyl, which could have been a contributing factor to his death.
So I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously don't have the fact. I'm just saying it could be a contributing factor. Because fentanyl, like a pin, isn't it like a pinhead of fentanyl can kill you? I don't know.
They do say, a vanishingly small amount could compromise you. But the thing is, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that when Derek Chauvin kneeled on his neck, contributed to a guy who's got COVID, by the way.
Yeah.
So he's got upper respiratory tract infection.
Yeah.
Which probably severely compromises his capacity to breathe. Yeah. Those details don't necessarily even matter.
Yeah, but
it's a violent arrest, which could have been different.
Well, did you watch the trial?
I did.
Their enforcement guy said they were actually allowed to use more force than they did.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do you think Chauvin intended to kill him though?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's important. So so they might have sort of made the charges even worse to sort of appease the people that are
Well,
pretty
yeah,
upset
because
about
they
it?
had to change jurors out like 3 times
Yeah.
because people were being threatened.
Yeah, but the details of that specific scenario don't really matter. We both agree that
absolutely not.
he really doesn't deserve to die.
No, he didn't. I agree.
I think that treatment could have been more humane.
I agree. No
and
one
you've spoken to this much as well.
Yeah.
I know this. But however, what you wanted to address, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that, again, the narrative and what really happens are two really different stories.
Absolutely. Like recently, did you hear in the news about in the New York subway that black guy got choked out by a Marine?
I heard about that.
Okay, so apparently he was like harassing and attacking people, and right now, like a big thing that's happening to people on the subway in New York is they're being thrown in front of trains. So when a guy's like that is hysteric and he's threatening people, that's a big worry. Mm-hmm. So a group of guys restrained him, and then they put him in a recovery position, and then unfortunately he passed away. But he was assaulting people, and you can enact self-defense in the defense of others. That is protected.
Yeah,
and that's what that guy did. But I think the charges may have been dropped. I haven't looked at it, but they were filing charges against him. The guy who, it's unfortunate the man died, but I mean, he shouldn't have been threatening people on the train, especially when people have been getting thrown in front of subway trains for like the past 3 years. Yeah. And like I think like 30% of the people who have been thrown in front of the trains have died because they got hit by the train.
Yeah, I could imagine. Now, you're speaking to something that I actually wanted to talk to you about, which is, I don't know how we could, but could we establish some act that is done not really concerning someone's race?
Well, I mean, that's what I would like it to be, because I don't...
but how do we make the distinction, right? For this guy, for example, if he was 2 Brazilian dudes, I guess, whatever, in the slums, sort of or if it was 2 white people and one guy
if that guy who was threatening people was white, I would justify the same amount of force being used against him. If he was Mexican, Asian, white, black, doesn't matter. If you're threatening people and there's a real fear that you're going to do harm to someone, you need to be subdued.
So you see, that's a really good point. Now,
I don't care.
Should we go look back at that man's history and say, does he have a history of tendency of being a racist?
He has that dude did have a history of mental illness, but not everybody could be aware of that history, right?
Not the kid. I'm talking about the guy that attempted to stop the guy and killing him. Yeah. Because do you remember what Liam Neeson got in trouble for a couple years back?
No.
His sister, the actor from Taken. Yeah. Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I know who he is. I
was just looking for confirmation. So he, you're like, him. So I believe his sister was raped.
Oh, wow.
And apparently it was an African American dude or black dude. I don't know if it was in England or in America. I'm not entirely sure. So he tells the story unprompted, I guess, as a passing comment, I guess. Yeah. He was, I guess, recounting a time where he was pretty upset and felt negatively towards black people. Yeah. So he recounts that day of going outside to kill the first black person he sees.
Oh, wow.
So you could clearly see this is a racially motivated act of violence. But for example, if a woman who's white in a predominantly black neighborhood gets robbed, she didn't really quite see the person. Yeah. And she's asked for a description, and she says, pretty certain they were black because they were moving in a certain way. I don't consider that racist.
No.
It's like literally saying the woman, it's Baltimore. This place is 99% black people. He was walking all gangster.
Well, if you just play the odds.
Not just the odds, but you see, but like those 4 kids, the Parkland, the Central Park, 4 guys that were arrested wrongfully because they were accused of raping a white girl. Yeah. That girl falsely accused those guys. So you see where the dichotomy that I'm trying to bring forth? Yeah.
You know how I feel about false rape allegations.
Yes.
Because they're either lightly penalized or never penalized for falsely accusing someone of that,
which is insane.
Yeah, and like that, the damage is done. That person's life is essentially over because they're never going to overcome that. Because like what happens when you apply for a job? You're
a felon. The people don't see it the right way.
It's not just that.
Yeah.
Well, no, if like even if the charges get dropped, right?
Yeah. No, it sticks with you.
Employers Google you.
Yes.
To see if you have any
controversy that follows you from behind.
And that's even if you're, the charges get dropped and you're not accused of it anymore.
Yeah.
The fact that you were accused is going to be the first thing that pops up on the Google searches because that's how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be, it's like, this dude's a rapist. So they're not going to hire him. So therefore he can never get gainful employment.
Which just starts another vicious cycle of that person returning to a life of crime. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Now,
well, I mean, he wasn't in a life of crime.
Yeah.
That would push him towards one
exactly. Yeah. Even those that are trying to rehabilitate.
Like honestly, our like having worked in our prison system.
Yes.
Our prison system isn't good.
Yeah, and one day I think
it
I want to get into
literally
that,
kindling, like, for lack of better words, kindling dogs.
Yeah.
All day and not letting them out to let out the energy,
which we don't recommend we do with dogs.
Yeah, exactly. So the dogs in the kennel all day. Yeah. And then
imagine reintegrating that person to society.
Bad. Yeah. It's
now,
hard to do that.
You and I have given a few examples, and obviously I don't want to misrepresent the facts out there. There are people, terrible.
Oh, people absolutely.
Color, like Jesse Smollett, which we recently remember, who wrongly accused a movement.
Well, he wrongly accused the movement in Chicago.
Which is horrible.
In Chicago.
Oh, God. I wished him so
this is MAGA country
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like for one, if you wanted a damn Subway sandwich, which I don't think Jussie Smollett would want a Subway sandwich, because he's an actor.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat Subway sandwiches, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Because they're disgusting.
Yeah. There goes our
he could have got Uber Eats.
Yes.
Why go out at 3:00 in the morning?
Oh, the details of that whole thing is crazy.
It's so dumb. And like, I always wait for news cycle to get out as most information as possible.
Yeah.
Before I make any judgment calls on there, I can give opinions. I'm like, it looks this way, but before I make a definitive claim, I'm gonna wait for more stuff to come out.
And I can attest to that.
It's like Kyle Rittenhouse. You know about him, right?
Yes.
Up until like even during the trial, CNN was still saying he shot 3 black men.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that storyline sells.
I'm sorry, I've never met a black man with the last name Rosenbaum. That's a very distinct.
You don't know that?
Well, I'm pretty sure there might be one out there. But if I were a gambling man and someone said Rosenbaum, I'm like, that dude's Jewish.
Yeah, you remind me of a Joe Rogan line. I think it was UFC, like UFC 120 or 136, like just a while ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Like 2 people are fighting. One is black guy, the other one is white.
Yeah.
So one is in a darker trunks, and usually how they say like Cannoneer in the black trunks, and I guess like Cejudo in red trunks or whatever. People that know MMA know these names. And the guy was having trouble, because I guess one of their names was pretty hard to say, and the other guy had a weird color pattern for the trunks.
Oh yeah.
Joe Rogan's like, dude, the black guy, dude. And like John Anik from the middle is like, Joe Rogan said that, not me, dude. Do not cancel me.
I mean, come on, man.
I mean, that's a
I know, but it's just like, if we have to use the script, if someone's wearing some elaborate trunks, I'm not gonna be like, the black guy,
the cool black guy.
Yeah.
Now, here's why there is an issue with that. If it was not a lighthearted moment, which MMA is, Joe Rogan is a comedian. He has some license to sort of use that kind of language. But the reason why we don't do that is you don't want to.
He's an air quotes comedian.
Yeah, we don't like his comedy. We just like the man.
Okay, he's told like one joke that got me rolling, but like I don't. It's his delivery, man. I'm pretty sure if like someone else,
yeah,
if Bill Burr told his jokes,
yeah, it might be better.
I would laugh. But it's Joe Rogan's delivery, and I love Joe Rogan, man.
Yeah,
I love him. I love
everything
his
about him is
podcast.
great,
I love everything else he does. I love that he's like a hippie stoner.
Yeah,
and he just likes to chill.
His
he looks like a real laid back dude, man.
I think that's what everybody says. We don't know him personally, but
well,
you want to invite him on the show?
Yeah, Joe. I mean, you don't got anything going on, man. I know you haven't been doing well. If you want, you want the Barely bump, you can, you can come on the you can come on the Barely podcast, man. We'll get you the coverage you need.
Barely bump,
but
is a good thing.
Just a little side note. My wife's uncle Nathan, he did Joe Rogan's house.
Oh,
like the interior designing and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool.
Yeah, he was showing me pictures like at our engagement dinner.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's pretty.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So to swing back into our topic, I wanted to go through those specific examples, and this is barely touching the tip of the iceberg. I know. There's equally corrupt people on either side.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to echo what the president said, which caused a lot of controversy. I'm just saying there's racist black people, there's racist white people. It is not as many as people make it out to be.
Yeah.
What I wanted to explore with you, if you don't have anything to add, and I'll let you if you do.
All right, let's go.
First of all, how do we make the distinction between people that are trying to do good and just at like someone's color was not really a factor in their decision making? How do you differentiate those people?
Well, I mean,
like that lady in Baltimore.
Like in
the guy that killed the kid in the train.
Like he wasn't killed. He was a grown man. That got killed. It's kind of hard to tell at first sight,
Yeah.
Because we don't know the person, right? Like, if you see them after the fact and they got swastika tattooed on them, and like maybe
a slam dunk right
or
there.
a Woody the Woodpecker, which for those who don't know, the Woody the Woodpecker is a symbolize of the Woods, which is a white supremacist gang that couldn't get into the Aryan Circle or the Aryan Brotherhood, so
I didn't know
they're double reject. Well, I know a lot about gangs because of I worked in a prison system.
Oh yeah.
So you have to learn a lot of this stuff.
Oh.
Because sometimes you have to do some things to get stuff hashed out, so there's not riots. So sometimes, because you're not supposed to let inmates from other dorms talk, but if it's going to stop a riot and it's gang related, you need to let those two gang leaders talk, so that the way there's not a riot. So I've had to do that in dorms before, and it is definitely against the rules. It definitely is, but if it's going to stop war from happening, it's better to let those two people hash it out. Because and that's the thing. One thing is funny about, because I worked at a women's prison for a month and I worked at a men's prison. The women fight way more than the men do. It's weird because you'd think that the women would want to talk about it before they fight. No, the women just go straight in swinging. The men want to talk and de-escalate before they go in.
The women are like, it's war.
Yeah, before they go to fists.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's interesting. So you were saying it's pretty hard to tell?
I initially.
Yeah.
Initially, because you kind of have to look back after the fact, right?
Yeah.
So it's like with the Nashville shooter, right? We didn't know what the motivations were. Well, we still really don't, because they haven't released the notes on it.
Yeah, investigation on it.
Yeah. But we didn't know anything about this person until like a little bit after it happened. So we don't like the initial thoughts are like, oh crap, a shooter.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Like, it turns out they were a trans shooter, but I mean that's irrelevant, really.
Yeah.
To the fact.
Yes.
There was a shooting done, but we didn't know the motivations. It's hard to tell until like the act is done.
Yeah.
And we can sit back and look at it.
So
initially,
like,
I don't think there is a way to tell.
Yeah.
But I think we need to get more back to the like what MLK was talking about, man. We need to start judging people on their character, not the color of their skin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I grew up listening to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here in the United States, like going through elementary school. And I always took that stuff to heart because I was like, yeah, people shouldn't be judged by some irrelevant factor, man. Like look at Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a black man, and he's the smartest astrophysicist.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you can accomplish great things regardless of the color of your skin in America. And I'm not saying there aren't people who will judge you, because I mean, I worked at a hotel before I got the current job I have.
Yeah.
And the owners are Indian, and they did not want any black people hired.
Yeah.
I mean, like when they were hiring to replace me,
yeah,
I was taking in applications, and like a bunch of black guys came in, and they
rejected.
They were like, well, I already knew, and I tried to tell them,
Yeah.
but like the owner was there, and so he was already mad at me for leaving, but he got their applications, and then as soon as they left, he told me to shred them.
Wow.
Because he wasn't even going to consider them.
Now, a very little known fact in America is there's a lot of racism outside of America.
Oh yeah, dude.
In fact, I can.
China hates black people.
That's well, yes, but the Chinese also hate the Japanese and the Koreans. So the thing is, there is also another distinction that needs to be made between racism and like ethnic differences, like race and ethnicity. There is ethnic war happening in Ethiopia right now. People that were born to the same great parent are warring over tribes and ethnicity. Yeah. So racism is almost like irrespective of what color someone is. Yeah. It's about not really understanding or trying to empathize, or it's the idea of fearing something that is unknown to you.
And it's like people, this is another thing, because like slavery here in the United States, people are really think that we are the first people to ever do it. They're like, we did it. We went. A lot of people think we went over to Africa and we just scooped people up in the boat and left. When that's not the case. That is not the case. They were purchased from bigger kingdoms, because if you were a weak tribe, you were enslaved.
There were African kings that rounded up parts of warring tribes, like neighboring tribes.
If you lost, you were enslaved.
Yeah, but that also doesn't excuse what Chris Columbus did or the whole process, obviously. But we want to get the historical accounts of this whole thing accurately.
We're not the first, and slavery is still going on today.
Correct.
In other countries, China has slaves. Yeah. India has slaves.
3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Egyptians.
Yeah, Egyptians. The Irish were enslaved to the...
Yes.
I mean...
Yeah. I mean, so the thing you said about you growing up hearing the sentiments of MLK, I want to speak more to that, because at work, we work with, I guess, maybe more than 60% of people in our working environment are white, in our specific department, I would say. A couple of Hispanics.
Like on our shift?
Yeah.
I think
we don't have to be accurate, but like at least half.
Well, maybe half, because there's a good portion that are Hispanic.
Yeah, so we have Hispanic. We have a very small number of ethnic people that are like black or brown. I guess Hispanic is brown, right? Technically,
we have 2 Asian people too.
Correct. Now, what I wanted to say is I've had a conversation with at different times regarding this issue. Most of them lighthearted, not really serious exploration of their thoughts about it. But what they tell me is, especially our Caucasian friends, you can clearly see how they were raised. Yeah, was a huge part of like the fear that they had as a child. Like they don't know anybody like their grandparents, their family members that do not despise people that are not just black people. Yeah. Every other person that is not American and white or looking like them, fear them. These people are not your friends. That's the sentiment, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only known like really 2 racists my entire life. I'm 38, so I think that's a good average there. I think that's a low.
I think you've lucked out.
Bar. Yeah. Yes. So one of them was, I had a roommate, and
oh boy, you're about to call them out.
Her, actually.
Okay, yeah. That's okay.
I'm not gonna say her name.
You know what? Women are capable of racism too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name, but I started dating
equality, baby.
When I started dating my ex.
Yeah,
she's black.
Yeah.
She hated her because of that. Because she was like, I can't remember where she said she was from, like Oklahoma or something like that.
Yeah.
And she hated her. She goes, she's gonna steal from us, and I'm like, shut the hell up. It's my girlfriend.
She said she's gonna steal
yeah, she thought she was gonna hurt her and all kinds of stuff like that. But I mean, I guess that's partially because of her upbringing, because that's what her parents told her would happen to her.
Yeah, which brings me to my point of, when you ask me if I faced a lot of racism coming here, not even a little. I have to qualify.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you why I said unequivocally no, because I don't want to tarnish the good that was given to me here.
Yeah.
Because I've looked up to America even when I was in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
But I don't want to belittle the atmosphere that black people sometimes are raised in this country. Like if you're raised in the projects and you see the neighborhood across town, the cool suburban, we're just white kids, white picket fence, everything manicured, HOAs and like stuff that you can never dream of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That sort of has a crippling effect on your psyche. Yeah. You grow up feeling that inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Because me and my wife were afforded more opportunity than
most.
A good number of African Americans in this country.
Well,
now it could be because of our merit. We've gone to school. You know what I'm saying?
Not just. Well, do you think? Because I see this a lot, and I see a lot of like people who come over from other countries and they're very successful in America.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have much when they came over. I don't know what your situation was when you came over. I don't know how well off you were.
Yeah.
But, and they start businesses and they succeed.
Yes.
Like Asian Americans are by their.
Don't say model minority, dude.
Well, not even that. I'm not saying like they are not. I'm not saying they're a model minority. I'm saying that they are one of the highest earners.
Yes.
Of all, like on average.
Yes.
Even above white Americans.
Correct. Especially academia.
Yeah, especially in academia.
Yes.
And like they're penalized. Like in the top schools, they only you can only they have to score the highest to get into the school, which is very unfair. Because it's very unfair.
That has much to do with the culture that they grow up in.
Well, and that's another thing. Like, do you think affirmative action like helps?
I can imagine some areas that it could, but I can also see a detriment that it could bring about.
Okay, so this is what I see happening in these high Ivy League schools, right? Because the SAT score you need to get into like one of the Ivy League schools is lower if you're black, right?
So it used to be, I guess, but I don't think that's right.
Well, I haven't followed it, but it used to be. Or if you get into that school and you don't meet the normal standard, you go into crippling debt for being at that school, and then you fail out because you weren't able to maintain it.
Yeah,
that higher level of education. Like, and I saw like this was a thing. A lot of people might not know who Steven Crowder is, but he does a segment called "Change My Mind."
Yeah,
and he went out to a college and he was talking to this black girl, and he was like, "Do you did you work hard to get into school?" And she was listening to all the things that she did to get into school, and she came from like a projects type school.
Yeah,
and she succeeded. She utilized every program she had so she can get into a decent college. And Steven Crowder was like, doesn't it worry you that the only reason you might have gotten into the school is not because you're smart, but because you're black? And she goes, I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's gotta suck.
That's a good point where he's pointing out it kind of belittles the merit that she has. The fact that you were able to do this, you could have done it by yourself.
Yeah.
And for people to maybe
which
assume,
I think, like, she was telling all her stuff, I think she could have gotten that school just on her merit alone.
Yes. Yes.
But
Now, there's something to be said about giving someone that could have never had the opportunity some options.
That's why I'm pro school choice, man. Like school choice gives way more opportunity.
Yeah.
And then if people choose not to go to the bad schools,
Mm-hmm.
the bad schools will cease to exist.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a higher level of education all around. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah. So I've hoped for a long time now that we could have a country much like MLK envisioned.
Well, I think we had it for a while, though.
Yes. Now, but here's the problem, though. I think humanity fearing the unknown is going to be something that we cannot fight. Like, if you're fighting against, me feeling slightly apprehensive about a group of 5 really different looking people that are talking to each other differently, at a different tone, at a different dialect, I'm going to be fearful of that. Like, you cannot see 15 Saudi men like coming at you, and I'm nothing against Saudi men because Saudi's pretty dope place, but except for women. But what I'm saying is, like, you would feel fearful for your life. You know what I'm saying? This is common.
Okay, so this is, if anybody's walking towards me, because this is what I do.
Yeah.
And like, especially when I'm walking with my wife, if any group of people is walking towards me, I don't care what color they are.
Yeah.
I always assume that they might want to do me harm, so I'm prepared. I'm always in between them and my wife. So she hates it because I make her switch sides a lot. So like, if we're walking this way, and then you were walking towards us and I didn't know you.
Yeah.
Regardless of your skin color.
Yes.
I would switch from the outside to the inside, casually, just like
that's a good practice.
Put myself, because I mean I don't.
You've been protected.
I'm protective, and it has nothing to do with skin color. It has to do with I don't trust
because
people.
You are 100% discriminating against all colors.
Oh yeah. Equal opportunity racist.
Everybody's potentially my enemy.
Here, folks.
Yes. No, that's I think that's a healthy attitude. Somewhat. I mean, paranoia is better than racism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen the worst of people working in a prison. Yeah. So I things can happen. I was stabbed. So
Yeah. So just to finish my thought on what I was saying about the no that I give you at the start of this is not to belittle the experience of American-born African Americans.
Yeah.
Who feel that psyche of suppression, that suppressive thing that I tell you. The idea of emancipation has not really, it's an attitude that you kind of wear. It's not really something that's given to you, but you practice it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can practice like mental slavery for almost.
Yeah.
So I want that for everybody. And I know I haven't had that. So I may not be perceiving racism, but that tells you there is not a systemic version of it, as mostly discussed.
It's like, okay, so like if you're always told from a kid that you're never going to make it because you're black, then you're never going to try to make it.
Correct.
You're never going to try to fight the odds. For the majority, of course, there's going to be the outliers, the ones who actually do. Like, oh, well, I'm going to do it in spite of this. Yeah. Which everybody should have that mindset. If anyone ever tells you you're never going to do it, you do it out of spite of that.
Correct.
And you push through. But there's so many things, and then there's a lot of the goals for young African American boys and stuff like they're the role models that they have. Like not role models, but like what they want to be when they grow up, right?
Yeah.
Most African American men want to be in some kind of sports.
Correct.
It's like how many spots do you think there are for those?
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Or rappers.
Yeah, rappers.
Yeah.
It's like there's not
NBA,
not a lot.
Correct. Yeah. That NBA, seems to be the only out. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's not a lot of spots for that. If you do make it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're living the dream. But if you have a fallback plan, get into engineering, stuff like that. That stuff always pays well.
Yeah, and obviously there's a good portion of that demography that does. I just wanted to recognize that there is this psychological thing that actually could be overshadowing a lot of young black men that I don't really have, that I never had, and I felt at home, dude. I got off the plane.
Well, I mean, I think
in Dallas
people,
for the first time. Yeah.
I think most people are accepting of most people here in the United States.
Correct.
I don't think there's a vast amount of racism. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I've lived in Texas most of my life, and like I've met 2 racists my entire time here, and one of them wasn't even from the state, so it's like
that's just
the other one was from India. So it's from a different country. So it's like
it somehow managed to negotiated the number to 0.
Yeah. So it's like,
you had good folks around you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, my mom raised me to like not care about stuff like that.
Okay. Now I want to, and I may be speaking for other black people here, but as a resident black person, I want to say something. Yeah. For those that harbor some sentiment of racism, it's okay.
Well,
and let me finish this stuff.
But most of the time, people think things are racist and they're not.
There's that too. But I'm actually saying, let's say you were brought up and you were fortunate in having a good role model like your uncle, your brother who's chill, your mom who's super educated. You were raised in a family that did not teach you this stereotypes, right?
Well, and that was like in New York. I knew one black kid. Yeah. In upstate New York.
Yeah. I mean, there's that too. Not that lack of exposure, but never some people actually learn that in a vacuum. Like they've never met a black person, but they learn the stereotypes and apply them to the first black person they see. Oh yeah. Now, if you avoid doing that,
I guess I was too young to understand stereotypes when
there's that.
Black people. So.
But for example, let's say you were 12 and somebody told you, oh yeah, if you see like a young black man with a hoodie, change your lane, you know? Yeah. Don't speak to them. The first thing you need to, if you see somebody in a shop and you see a black person, they're probably gonna steal. If you want to hire somebody to work, go with the Hispanic, not the black person, because they're more likely to be lazy. Yeah. Are they on welfare? Like all these stereotypes that we've been brought up. It's okay to learn these or have knowledge of them, but here's what you want to try and do. The next person that you know, that you meet or run into, who is that person, who is of that ethnicity, try to approach them with a conscious absence of bias. Try to say to yourself, okay, I know these stereotypes, but they might not apply to this person.
I've got a perfect example for you.
Yeah?
Do you know who David Dorn is?
No.
Okay. So David Dorn is a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to find out why KKK members hated him because he was black. Mm-hmm. So he went to KKK meetings.
Is that the movie based on the thing?
I don't know if there's a movie.
Okay.
But this actually happened. Okay. And these guys got to know David, and they, because David let everybody know he was going to this KKK meeting. Mm-hmm. So like, if something happened to him, they would,
yes,
authorities would be called.
Yeah.
So he went there. And they let him sit there and listen to the stuff he said. Mm-hmm. And then they would talk to him like afterwards. And then eventually they all turned in their robes and hoods to him. Mm. And they stopped.
Is that the big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Joe Rogan, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, I remember him.
Yes. But when people can change.
Correct.
For one.
Yes.
Because if you're growing up in that and you never experience it.
Yes.
Then I can see how you can be in that mindset.
Exactly.
Like if you're indoctrinated in that, because it's almost like a cult.
It's a brainwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see that, but like when they were confronted with the reality of the situation, because they're like, oh, he likes the same music I like. Yeah. Oh, he likes the same kind of cars I like. That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like he was working on a car.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you like this kind of car? And he's like, yeah, I've had this car. This is my dream car. And they're like, oh, it's my dream car too.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's secularly, beautifully human connection is what we want. But you won't have that until you open up your heart.
Talk to someone. Yeah. Like, look how much we have in common.
Exactly. Like, imagine if we had judged each other.
Well, yeah.
I'd be like this lanky with the freaking beard.
This guy's always cold. He's always cold.
Like Santa from Wish. You're a cool dude. Look at him. Not a shred of racist value in you. You have a gay brother, a chill mom, uncle was extremely supportive. Shout out to your uncle again. Another shout out to your uncle.
Our family is diverse.
Yeah.
Like my brother-in-law is Hispanic.
Yeah.
My ex was black. My other brother-in-law is half Japanese. So their kids are quarter Japanese.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like we have diversity in our family, but it's it's not an issue. It's like we never look at that.
Yeah. But for those, I hope this is a good example. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying be colorblind because there are differences. We do have differences, but that doesn't mean they're negative.
Yeah.
Like I always judge because guess what? You can be an asshole if you're white, black, Asian, and Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'll tell you this. For example, for myself, I'm terrible at basketball. I have yet to shoot a hoop. Exactly. I can't run fast. I'm not built like I'm tall, but I'm not built like an NFL player. Yeah. I don't like chicken as much, or watermelon.
Chicken's delicious.
Watermelon. I'm not into rap. I listen to Bach and Chopin and Vivaldi half the time. Classical music is my jam. Yeah. I don't really relate to the hip hop culture, but I have like other black things like that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is, not everybody falls into a stereotype.
No, absolutely not. Like I probably
tell me the non-white things that you
do. I don't like Miracle Whip, dude. It's a white thing.
That's funny.
A sandwich is just a sandwich without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip. Sponsored by Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by Miracle Whip.
Well, yeah, no. Subway and that one, we're not going to sponsor.
No, like, I mean, like, I probably fall into, like, a handful of white stereotypes, but not the majority of them.
Exactly.
Like, I find myself, I'm a pretty chilled, laid-back kind of guy.
Yes.
I don't let a lot of stuff bother me.
Which is not a white thing, you know?
It might or might not be, dude. I don't know.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
I don't really know, like, white stereotypes. I mean...
Yeah. And I went for the most cartoonish version of the stereotypes that I know.
Hello, my name is Alex Whiteman.
Exactly. Well, it just speaks to the idea of us recognizing each other for other things than the stereotypes that we've learned. The color that you see immediately in front of you. Try to approach someone as a friend, as a human, and then see there's so much more to them. And I would say the same thing about people that are homophobic.
Yeah.
Have a gay friend, dude.
Well,
like, do you know someone is gay?
Like the thing, no, dude, I don't know any gay people.
Your brother's gay, bro.
I'm just kidding. Of course.
Caught in the lie.
Damn it.
Yeah.
No, of course, dude. I mean, I've known quite a few gay people. I mean, I've known quite a few.
And some of them are excellent.
And some of them are.
Some of them are extremely piece of shit people. Exactly. Like there's no.
Yes.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not a.
I know.
It's not a box.
I mean, that's just shades of people at that point.
Precisely.
Some people are assholes, some people aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I do, like, with every interaction I have, like, I do, this might be a wrong way to look at the world, but I do a cost-benefit analysis. Like, what is the cost of engaging in conversation
That's such a white thing to say right now.
Like, what is the cost of, like,
ruining the whole thing we built up?
So the cost of me having a conversation with you is time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, if the conversation is good, then it's worth the time to have it. So, therefore,
it's worth it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
So, that is what I do with, like, almost every situation I have in my life. Is this worth my time? So, is talking to this person worth my time? If I find it's not, I don't talk to that person very often.
Mm-hmm.
If, like in our work environment or just in public. If I run into them, it's like, hey, have a good day, stuff like that. Yeah, because it's not good talk.
Yeah, I mean it's
for me at least.
Yeah, no, I've seen that in your life as well, as much as at least the part that I know. You're pretty consistent in that regard, but that's the entirety of almost the message that I wanted people to understand. I don't fall into any stereotypes. I do some certain things that
that's why we were going to originally call this podcast the Barely Black podcast.
Yes, so we almost called this podcast. Yeah, that's a good point to mention now. Barely Black because
I'm not, and he said he was barely.
I'm barely black, and but obviously that I guess, propagates stereotypes. So we opted for a cooler name.
Yeah, we just decided to go with Barely a Podcast, which I think has a better ring.
I think it does. Yeah, for sure. It really does. Yeah. So you see, you had little hope for fixing racism, but there you go. We did it.
Well, yeah, we did it.
It's over.
We accomplished
What time is it?
Racism's over.
700 hours.
Yeah, 700.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over, guys. We did it here on Barely a Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Today.
You heard it here first. Yeah, I want to tell you something funny that I do.
What's up?
So, I am in a car. Another guy pulls next to me, and like in a black guy in a cool car, kind of just jam into a
year 2005,
like a good beat. And this only happens in America.
Yeah.
After I got here, obviously, and I'm listening to maybe like a Nocturne Opus 9 number 2 of Chopin, and
I don't even know what that is.
And I've done this. I would do, and I'm head bobbing right now. But the din, 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 is what's going on in my car. I've honestly done that so many times. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Just because I want to conform.
Oh yeah,
to that.
I do that all the time, dude. So this is stupid, but I used to do this weird thing in the car when I was way younger, when I was like 16, and I was driving. I'd do this thing where I was looking straight, and I'd pull up next to someone at a stoplight, and then I'd snap my neck to look at them. And then this one time, this old lady flipped me off. It was so funny. She was like, it was the slowest. It was the slowest flip off.
Yeah, and I know I recognize why I want to conform to that culture, because first of all, obviously hip hop culture is pretty cool. It's really cool.
I guess
it's pretty cool. Like there is so many cool things about it. Like there's it's obviously motivating to a huge swath of the demography. It generates a lot of revenue.
Oh yeah.
It's entertainment.
Absolutely, you can see.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously there are bad sides to it, like Cardi B. Well, but I'm saying there's a ton of bad things about it. But I mean, from the times of all the way from Ice Cube all the way to Eminem, dude, I love hip hop. Yeah, like it's pretty cool.
Cardi B, come on the podcast and confront Teddy.
No, Cardi B. As the reasonable half of this podcast, banish you from Barely a Podcast forever.
Whoa, no one's banished yet, dude.
I mean, for the clout, for the clout.
So
for the clout, you can come on.
Yeah, for the clout. But I mean.
But you see what I mean about me trying to conform, right?
Yeah. So like my one of my little brothers, he was really into rap music when he was younger, and like I think anybody can be into it. I just never have been. Yeah. I don't like rap. I don't like country music either, which is apparently inherently a white thing. Yeah. So I don't fall into that stereotype. Yeah. I hate country music.
Dude, I love some country music right now.
I hate it.
I've bobbed to Shania 22.
Like Garth Brooks. Go fuck himself.
Garth Brooks is a laughing stock.
I don't like country music.
Yeah,
I never have. My mom liked it.
Yeah,
I had to listen to it because I was like, we bought a CD player.
Yeah.
Back in the day when it was like a huge thing to have.
Yeah,
I remember my mom. We went to the PX, and we went, which is like the military Walmart.
Okay,
went to the PX. Yeah, and my mom got the CD player, and she bought a Garth Brooks CD. And then we came home, and then I was excited to listen to the new format of music.
Yeah,
I didn't care about the music. Cause I like a lot of 90s alternative rock, 90s early 2000s. That's like my jam.
Yeah,
like it's very rarely I hear a song now that I actually like. So new music is kind of just like off the table for me.
Yeah, almost. Me too, dude.
Yeah, like the Gorillaz is. Like their new album has been hitting me like with the nostalgia feelings.
Yeah,
because like it sounds like old school Gorillaz.
Yeah, it's a good band. A really good band.
That's my favorite band, dude.
Yeah,
hands down.
Is there not? Do you not like who's the guy that sings Tennessee Whiskey? I forget his name. Chris Stapleton. You don't like him?
I don't even know who he is, dude.
Tennessee Whiskey.
I don't even know.
Come on, it's a cool song,
dude. I don't like country music.
Like a paid up truck.
Yeah, it's not my jam.
That was my horrible country accent, so forgive me.
Well,
I know what you mean about not really being your vibe, because that's not where that's not.
Yeah, it's like I don't really like rap either.
But that's fine. See, there you go. A white guy who doesn't like country music.
I mean, well, I don't know. Just all the rappers say their name like 500 times during every fucking song. It's like, I know who you are.
Yeah. 3 songs ago. Yeah, there's I forget the guy. He's a new on the block. He's a Hispanic kid, comedian.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know, Chief Keef or whatever. I don't even know who that is, but apparently a popular singer, okay, rapper. And I guess he was saying, like there's a lyrics that says I am like vibing or whatever, going 60 miles an hour or whatever, and he's like, so when I'm high and listening to that rap, it's like chill. Like I started doing the math, right? Like did this guy just brag about going across country at the speed limit? It's like, what the fuck, dude? 60 miles per hour is the speed limit.
Not fast.
It's not fast at all, dude. So this is much ado about how a lot of lyrics is a bunch of crap.
Well, yeah, it's just like there's that I don't give a fuck song.
Yeah.
You little stupid ass bitch. It's like, and he says he's not fucked up. Like, dude, you wrote a song about it. You're fucked up about this. You wrote a whole song to tell the world how not upset you were about
this episode is not about shitting on bad rap, dude. We got to stop. And then the mumble rap scene came, dude.
Okay, yeah, let's get back on track.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of things. But I wanted to obviously finish the podcast because we got a couple minutes left. On a note where we felt that social sort of norm pushing us to conform, and some of it is funny, some of it is not so funny, but the funny moment for me is where I try to be more black when I'm not really. Like,
well, I here's the basic. We need to stop thinking of ourselves as African American, Asian American, Native American, all that stuff, and just think of yourselves as American if you live here.
American, baby.
American. That's what you are. If you live in the United States, you are American. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Just hands down.
Dude, I'm about to stand up and shoot guns right now.
Boom, right there. That's what we do. See? And that's why you should support me in my political run in 2024. But no, like seriously though. I mean, the unified, we're too divided, and it's because tribalism has come back into place, right? So it's like black kids are wanting to segregate themselves in college again. Like they want black only dorms. Like you fought for years to not have that be the case, and now you want that to be the case again. Yeah. It's like you're segregating yourselves.
The more smarter generation ahead of you paid a lot of price.
Oh yes,
paid a
hefty price
in blood.
Yeah. Blood, time, like.
Yes, sir.
You really got to think of what you want to spend your time doing, because that's a finite resource you have there. And if this is worth your efforts, then good job. But you really need to think.
It doesn't seem like it is.
It really doesn't. So maybe people need to recalibrate and find out what really matters and focus on that. Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I learned after I started this job is we have a colleague. Shout out to her name. We're not gonna say her name, but shout out to Jay, one of our favorite takes. The blackest name.
Oh yeah,
given to the whitest girl in the whole planet.
Oh hey, my sister has a black name too.
She does?
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I'm not gonna call her out right now.
But this lady that I'm referring to, an amazing professional. The blackest name I've ever heard, and like there's not even obviously like there's no Shaniqua who's white. I don't think
there is, sir.
There's a Shaniqua who's white.
I don't know.
I don't even know what Shaniqua means. But in any case, I just also want to, as a side comment, please stop naming your children something that's cripplingly bad. Like, give them some head start in
like
life.
DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
I mean, that's not good.
This is a football player. His name's DeBrickashaw.
That's not good. And I'm saying this, and it's not racist because I'm black, obviously. But it's not a cool name, and obviously don't make it like super elitist. White names are not cool either.
Yeah, just, like Chris.
Well, Chris, come on, like Chris. What are you?
The whitest of white names.
Just that's one T removed from the Almighty.
You want to know what a whiter name is?
What is that?
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah, that's.
I thought he was Keith.
Name. I think that's the whitest name.
I thought it was Keith.
No, I think Blake is like the whitest white name. Like, what do you think when you hear the name Blake? You think of like some preppy white guy, right?
Chad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Some Chad type character.
The guy next to Chad.
Yeah.
Is Blake.
Yeah.
Blake,
Chad's best friend, Blake.
Blake is like the guy that when every time he steps out of the swimming pool, does the hair thing. He seems
to me like a guy who wears sweater vests.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Like the ones that are saggy.
Yeah.
And wants to play the guitar.
Yeah.
He has a tattoo comes up all the way to the neck.
Yeah. Blake.
But you know what I'm talking about?
That's all of you out there, Blakes.
Blakes.
All of you Blakes out there.
Yes.
That's you to a T.
Exactly.
I mean, start a trend where every Blake starts.
Just calling out names. Yeah, that'd be funny. In any case, I hope in between the laughter and the fun and the fun poking, the crux of our message got through, which is please start seeing past people's faces and color and the way they're dressed and what they look like.
Bad, okay?
Yeah. You can call out human beings for being shitty.
Oh yeah.
Irrespective of their color. Like this is not about like a call for good deeds, you know.
All the time, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All the time for being a shitty person.
Exactly. When you see a certain part of the population hurt, when you see signs of systemic racism, call it out. It doesn't matter if it affects you or not.
Well, I mean, I don't really think we have any laws on the books because that would be systemic, right?
Correct.
Laws on the books currently that are racist.
Well, I'm talking about loopholes, even, you know, that allow for.
Yeah. Well, that's business. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For example, it might not be entirely business savvy to go into a black neighborhood and start a gentrified, upscale luxury apartment.
That's absolutely not good because that pushes them out.
Yeah. But you see, we further build on that wall of segregation that we have.
Yeah, absolutely you do. Yeah. But like, if you see something racist or you think is racist or you see something that you don't like,
confront the person.
Do I'm talking about on the media.
Yeah.
Not like just in person. Yeah, if you're in person, confront that person. But do a bare level research on it before you make your judgment call, because things aren't always what they appear to be.
Yeah, a research should precede the outrage.
Yeah, because like I like to like with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, I didn't pass judgment on that until I knew everything, and I followed that for a long time because I followed the newscasters who had the entire footage who were following Kyle around. So I knew more about that than most people. Yeah. But do a bare like you just Google search it, man. You'll find the answers. Like people just don't do that, and you're discouraged from doing that because they're always like, "Oh, don't do research because I'm telling you 100% of the truth 100% of the time." Yeah. No, do your own research. Yeah. If you hear something that me and Teddy say, and you think it might sound off, or you don't want to believe it, look it up.
Yeah, I think that's a sound advice, but also I also want to call out to people to confront individuals, not scream into the abyss, like tweet it out. If you see something happening, for example, that guy trying to chokehold the other guy, it might be the necessary act at the time because the guy might be trying to protect the person.
Well,
don't immediately judge. Don't immediately judge the person that he's attacking him just because he's black.
Yeah,
but try to act accordingly. That is the most humane thing to do at the time.
Because that's what AOC did, right? She's so disingenuous.
Yeah,
I like she's the worst politician.
Could be.
Yeah.
I like how you always.
She's on the level of Joe Biden for me.
Yeah.
Well, no, like it's not that she does things that inherently ruin her district. She speaks for like the country, but she screws over her district. Like she stops jobs from coming in. Like so, her district's suffering, but she still keeps getting reelected.
Well, I mean, I'm always perplexed as to how our politics works because the people that don't do the job.
Well, she gets funding from outside of her district. That's why, because people fund her from all over the U.S., which I don't think. I still
don't know much about AOC to comment, but I hear some good and bad things, buddy. I'll look into it.
What good have you heard about her?
AOC?
Yeah.
I mean, all the bad rap that the Green New Deal got, I think was not founded on.
Okay.
It could have been better.
I read the whole Green New Deal.
Okay.
I read it, and there was a lot of stuff in there that had nothing to do with green energy.
Oh, yeah, that's what
a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And a lot of it was like money for people who can't, which I do agree with. If you cannot work, we should subsidize you some way to have some source of income. And then here's the next line that got me, or who are not willing to work. We should pay for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of taxpayer money. So you need to work. So that guy over there, because he doesn't want to, so he has food. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I was obviously they have a culture of tacking on things that are not necessarily.
It's like that. That's why I'm against the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
If any of that stuff's attached, like the cow, like I like beef. I'm gonna eat beef until the day I die. Yeah. So I don't care about cows farting. Yeah. So I'll eat beef.
I do care about cow farts.
I don't. I don't think it's really affecting that much.
Yeah,
I mean, it might
we
be
have.
affecting.
Well, yeah, but there could, because there is there is a whole other industry which is insane, and then obviously the science of global warming needs to be looked into for more conclusive, sort of recommendations.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
when we discuss how you're a flat earther. And
okay, I won't even allow that as a passing joke.
I want you to the next podcast. I want you to strongman being a flat earther.
I will never steelman that argument. I will always be a globalist for life, a globe earther, dude. Yeah. I'm the bowler, dude. Forever, man. Even if they demonstrated to be flat as a pancake, I'll be like, that's an illusion right now. I'm gonna die on that round heel.
Yeah, I mean,
on that globe, half a globe heel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun talk.
It always is, man. Always is.
Appreciated you.
Like talking with you. Like even if this became our full-time job, it wouldn't feel like work because
no,
talking with you is just hanging out with a bro.
Yes, sir.
You're my brother.
That's it. And then if y'all, hey, I should tell you this. 23andMe. You know I've always harped on that.
Yeah.
I want everybody to do it. Just find out. Just see where your maternal haploid ends up. And you're going to be like,
you might be partially racist against yourself.
Exactly. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm from Bantu Africa.
I'm 3% racist against myself.
Yeah. No. Well, it just gives you this idea. Yeah. There is something, and I know we're winding down, but there's this thing that they describe astronauts. So they have the copula on the ISS, the International Space Station. Mm-hmm. It's where you can sit and see like the whole Earth. Yeah. It's a beautiful scene, obviously, from their description. But what they all describe is this almost transcendent feeling of how our arguments down here, our divisions, borders, and color, and ethnicity, and tribe, how it all seems so futile compared to this fragile blue ball drifting through space. And how that creates this immediate sense of like family. Like everybody on Earth is family because you're spinning around that thing like 1,700 miles an hour.
It's ridiculous.
You're seeing everything in a second there. Yeah.
But you're not. You don't feel it.
You don't feel American. Yeah. You feel from Earth.
Yeah.
So just like Chris said earlier, feel American. If you can manage it on a good day, feel like you're from Earth.
Yeah.
Please. All right.
I mean, we're all human.
Yes, sir.
We're one race, the human race. That's
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for saying
Can't be racist against that.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man.
We love you too. You can follow us on a Barely Podcast on Twitter. We have a Truth Social now.
Oh boy.
So you can follow us at Barely a Podcast on there.
Yeah.
Still no Facebook or Instagram because Meta hates us. But it's fine. We don't need them. We got Donald Trump.
Oh God,
dude! You know, just a quick thing. You know what Donald Trump should have called his thing?
Yeah,
trumpet. Come on, like the instrument should be called trumpet. Come on, man.
There you go, Mr. President.
Oh my God, man. Rebranded to trumpet. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, episode 8 in the books, man.
7, sir.
Episode 7?
7.
I'm gonna edit that. Yeah. Episode 7 in the books, man.
Later.
Later.